Hello, this is another episode of Ask the HR Expert, your HR questions answered in just a few minutes. And today's question is one that I get frequently in the home care industry, which is, do we have to pay employees who drive for work? And the first question is, what type of employee is it? Is it a professional employee who receives a salary, or is it an hourly employee, such as a caregiver or a home health aide, who is paid by the hour? If it's an hourly employee, then the answer is probably yes, you probably have to pay for drive time between clients. The exception is commute time. Employers are not obligated to pay for the time it takes an employee to commute from their home residence to their place of work. In the case of caregivers, when they leave home and go and visit their first client, this is considered commuting time. However, if they have another client they will go and visit later in the day, the time between client one and client two is considered work time, and as such, the drive time will have to be paid. The only sort of exception to that sort of drive time between shift is if there is such a long break of time between the two shifts that a reasonable person would be expected to go back home or do something else. And obviously, what is a reasonable length of time between two consecutive shifts will vary from places to places, depending on how easy the commute or the driving is. So probably if you have somebody who does a morning shift and then an evening shift, the time in between that morning and evening shift, probably the drive time will be considered both as commute time. But if they're closer together, and especially if they're within an hour of each other, you see client A and leave at 10 o'clock, and you see client B around 11 o'clock, that hour in between is probably should be considered drive time. The good news for employers is that drive time doesn't have to be paid at the regular rate of pay of a caregiver, and you could consider paying it at the minimum wage, whatever that minimum wage rate is for your locality. Something else you might want to consider when it comes to driving and employees is that if an employee is using their personal vehicle, you probably would want to reimburse them for mileage, especially if you have a large territory and people have to drive for extended distances in between clients. This is one of the best practices that home care agencies have developed, and it seems to be paying dividends in terms of retention. Agencies who pay time, drive time, and mileage are more likely to retain the best caregivers. So that was your HR answer for today. If you have more questions, email me at annelise@gearconsulting.com and tell me what you'd like me to address. Check out the website, and of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel so you never miss another episode of Ask the HR Expert.